Maximus Analysis here for September 13th, 2016. And again, this is why we kind of really want to make sure we look at the bigger picture here versus 1 or 2 days worth of action. Look at yesterday's video in regards to how this weekly candle looks, and then look at where it is right now. One day doesn't make or break a trend, and I'm not going to say that this is a downtrend per se, but this is, again, we said that this is a retracement versus trying to call a top or a bottom. That's a sucker's game, and I really don't like doing it at all. The only way we'll know that, and again, who will ever know the final? There's only one final high or final bottom. So again, we see that we're approaching levels that, again, they're flirting with yesterday's low. Let's look at the daily for the ES, and you can see that how violently it has moved. Again, if they go and test this 2103 level, which I think is yesterday's low, 2100 actually, 2125, then they break and crack, and then we're looking for them to, if they're going to come and test this 200-day moving average, and what the price action looks accordingly. Again, I will put that, again, that will be the area that we can look at, and I did have also additional levels that I put in the newsletter as well. If you guys should have access to it, look at the levels and put them on your charts. NQ, same type of reversal, not as bad as the other as the ES, but again, I'm looking more at the ES because of the weight of that and how other markets were really starting to implode a little bit. So YM, again, down 200 something points. They saved this one with Apple. They threw Apple in the sky. Just to kind of, because again, think if Apple matched this based on the weighting, the Dow would have been probably down another 75 points, 50 to 75 points. So they had to keep this one respectable, I guess, then have it reverse back down too hard. But again, volatility is here, and it will be here for a little while. So again, we're trying our best not to get overly bearish at all. We're just treating this as a retracement, and we'll look to see if we get any support levels and take longs off of them and start positions and build into the position accordingly. Looking at crude, you can see that crude again on the daily time frame still did not break the low. So now, quite honestly, let's kind of back it out to the weekly time frame again. We see that we're coming to test our previous areas, and again 40 to 38.09. I'm looking to see what we do in regards to that action, but you can see it's still very choppy. Gold, so again, we're going to look at coming down to our previous levels. Again, the 1287.5 and 1300 for the gold chart, and we'll continue to watch that. What we had as regard to bonds, we had some still sideways, but again, it's still sideways, looking like they could go down to these previous levels. Again, this is the weekly, so let's look at the daily for, and this is, excuse me, this is not the bonds, this is actually the euro. So you can see how sideways it's been here, and I still have a bearish outlook on that one. The British pound, again, we spoke about this and actually put something in regards to the newsletter saying this one is setting up, and it did give a weekly sell signal now. So this one is actually looking worse, and again, if they break these lows, then there's going to be additional selling pressure. But again, if you get to that low, you guys should be trimming your position or just rolling down and trailing your stop versus adding. Most people are going to start their position. Most TV outlets are going to start putting stuff down here when they break for all-time lows and all that. That's the time when most people are going to get in and they could give a little spike up. So you want to set, you want to close into strength and go from there. So actually, this is bonds right here, ZB, and you can see that they've broken down and broken these levels. Again, we will continue to look and not say that it's a complete wash, but we'll look at this level right here. Again, this ties in with previous lows as well to say, okay, they could break this low, but again, we'll see if they get to this. But that TLT has been breaking down as well, and we will continue to watch. Again, the buy would be closer to this area, but again, this is a weekly candle, so we'll wait and see how they close. So with that being said, let's go back to the ES, and again, this is to really let you know why you need to sometimes back out when it starts to get really, really volatile, because it will really help. Because if you start looking at stuff, let's break down the intraday time frame. They held the 2116.5 area. That was a level. Again, I didn't think they were going to hold it, but then I thought one or two things were going to happen, and actually the latter happened. I thought either going to break it down and flush overnight, or they're going to chop it after this big move down. They end up chopping it sideways. So again, this is why I really don't want to mess with the day trading, because again, you have basically for 3 hours people are trading the chop, and most people will trade the 5-minute or the 10 or 15, but mostly 5. And look, this is in hindsight, people are like, oh, I sell here, buy here, sell here. No, it's a lot more difficult than that. Even the 15, you kind of gives you a little bit more less, but it's easier to fade versus you just getting chopped up. So again, I prefer not to go to the higher time frames of daily and especially weekly to make sure I delete as much noise as possible so that I can make a trade and be calm during yesterday's price move. Because if you're trading a daily based on yesterday, you're in, and most of them got in at the close, and then it just gapped down, and it's been hurting since. So again, we'll look at the area to break of 2116.5. 2100 is the low for this week. So again, we'll keep our eyes on that 2100.25. So again, we'll keep looking at this stuff. And if you guys have any comments or questions, feel free. I really enjoy the commentary and response that people have in regards to videos. There was actually a great message that was sent by a viewer named Greta. I really appreciate, out of I think she's out of South Africa, and she sent me a great letter, and again, she's learning by looking at these videos, and that's what it's all about to me, is to help people learn. I do the newsletter. It takes a lot of time. These videos take a lot of time, and make sure I do them consistently to give you guys good material so you can go and assess, either use the techniques on your own stocks, or kind of help with looking at just the overall day. Because again, yesterday psychologically was more, and again, I spoke about this in the newsletter, that again, psychologically it's probably a harder thing to deal with when it rips up like that, to say, oh my god, I think we're wrong, and they're going to go right back up to 2186, versus just calm down a little bit and we'll see where it goes from here. Don't panic. It's 1 day price movement. What are we looking at? We're looking at historic sideways movement that they completely obliterated 5 weeks worth of lows on Friday alone. So they went all the way back to July. Again, let's look at the big picture. Again, a lot of people might say, what are you looking at that for? I'm not going to gloat. I'm trying to teach as well as so you see the lows that they came back to. They closed below them all the way back to July 11th lows. So again, they might come and rip all that back up 1 day, but then also taking that technique of looking at halfway back of the previous week. They went up 2051. We measured it, that's halfway, and they came right back down. So again, it's kind of giving a little head up to say, they stopped at a significant level. I wonder where they're going to go. Now, could they have gone up? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is part of trading. You got that invisible hand that people are just buying the dip off the ECB, the Bank of Jamaica, Bank of Japan. You got also the Fed here. So you got that invisible hand that comes in like gangbusters sometimes and really wipes things out. But that's the markets that we're trading in. But it's good to have somebody at least tell you, don't freak out. And if you're wrong, that's fine. Just manage risk, because we all are wrong. No one has 100% win rate in regards to trading, and that's why I'm here to at least provide you with this type of information so that you can make tangible decisions on one. Eventually, I'm on the last phases of getting my website up, is to have a newsletter, have actually stocks that you can look and assess yourself to trade. It'll be only the daily and only the weekly time frame. I'm not doing any intraday stuff. I actually post levels out on Twitter for those that are looking to day trade crude, ES, and actually gold sometimes. So again, I provide those levels for people that day trade, but day trading is to provide a service for that means you get into chat rooms and all that stuff. I don't really want to deal with none of that crap, quite honestly. It's just here to give the big picture and to give daily and weekly trade setups. So Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Again, thank you again, Greta, for your kind words. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for your kind words in regards to the newsletter and those that appreciate the work and appreciate the channel. It's been a lot of work, but it's a good journey. So again, take care, and we'll see what happens in the overnight session.